Hello, yeah, welcome to day 15 of the Sew with Tia 30 Day Sewing Challenge. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make this beat-up neckline, flat sleeve, accordion pleat dress. And this is my fabric. I made use of two trouser lengths for this particular tutorial. Now, if you're on the bigger side, you might need to increase the quantity of this fabric. Okay, and also you're going to be needing your sleeve pattern. I have mine with me. I'm going to leave a link in the description if you don't know how to draft your sleeve pattern. You're also going to be needing your pattern paper, okay, because we'll be drafting on paper. Now the first thing you want to do is to leave about 1.5 inch from your origin, and we're going to be working on that later. After which you're just going to go ahead to impute, or rather to draft your front pattern. I have a video on this. I'll be leaving the link in the description box. So what I'm doing here is just to draft out my front pattern. So I went ahead to indicate my chest line. That is the first point you can see. And I'm creating horizontal line along that point. After which I went ahead to create a horizontal line on my waist line, then my hip line. So you can see that's my hip line, my waistline, and my chest line. Now, one important thing I must say about this particular tutorial is whatever measurement you are working with, since you are working with a pleat fabric, please, and if depending on how much your pleat stretch, you are going to be taking some at least 1 to 2 inches out of your measurement. All right. So I'm going to be explaining that in details when I'm about to shape this particular outfit. So I went ahead to impute my bust round measurement divided by 4, and I'm going to be using this to create my armhole, as you can see. So I'm going to be cutting my back and my front armhole on the same pattern, and that is why you can see me indicating the back and the front. So I went ahead to impute my waist round measurement divided by 4 and my hip round measurement divided by 4. After which I connected those points together, which I used in shaping my gown. So on the hem of my gown, I'm going to be taking out 2 inches from my hip round measurement divided by 4, because this is meant to be a pencil, like a pencil gown. So it's kind of coming inward, okay? It's not a straight gown. So now we're going to be working on the neckline. Remember, this is a built up neckline. So you want to determine how far you are going to go up. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I went up by 1.25 inches for the purpose of this tutorial. And I'm just going to go using a straight line initially, which I'm going to be changing. Using a straight line, I'm going to go up by 1.25 and connect that point, okay, with a slight curve towards the mid neckline, then with a straight line on that shoulder slope point. That's where we have the neck width. After doing that, I'm also going to go ahead now to add my shoulders sewing allowance, which is going to be 0.5 inches. And from that point, I'm going to be making a curve, more like a curve around that part where I have the straight part for the built up neckline. Now, this is so important because you will not be able to sew that straight edge, and it will not sit well on your neck if you refuse to curve this part. All right, so this is what we're going to be cutting out for the back and for the front. The only difference with the back is adding your zipper allowance. So I went ahead to add 1 inch for my sewing allowance, which I ended up not using because at the end of the day, I still had to trim out the excess I had from this shaping. So I just went ahead to cut, as you can see. So this is what your pattern is going to look like. You can as well draft on the fabric. It's just because I'm working with an accordion pleat and it will be difficult to draft while filming the tutorial. So this is what the fabric looked like. So I went ahead to put in my pattern on it. Like I said, whatever measurement you are working with, for example, if your bust strand measurement is 9.5 inches after dividing by 4, you're not going to be marking 9.5 inch on this particular pattern. You're going to be marking 8.5 inch. Take away 1 inch or 1.5, okay? So that this fabric it stretches. It's going to be able to sit well on your body. So I went ahead to cut out the back as you can see, and I just added my zipper allowance. I added about 0.5 inch on the waist side for my zipper allowance, and I added 1 inch towards the center back, like toward the center back, the neck width for my sewing allowance. Then for the length, I had to increase my length because my pattern paper was short and could not accommodate my whole length. After which, I just went ahead to cut out the excess I don't want, as you can see me do. And that's going to be it for the back pattern. So after doing that, I'm just going to go ahead to open up my back pattern, and that is going to be giving me two pieces for the back. So I also went ahead to cut out the front while trimming the front armhole. I went ahead to cut out the front. As you can see, I did this off camera and I just went ahead to show you what it's looking like after placing the pattern on it. Okay, so from this point now, I'm going to go ahead to work on my sleeve. So for this particular sleeve, we have more like a trumpet sleeve, okay, a bell sleeve for this tutorial. So what you're going to do, you're going to be slashing through your sleeve pattern as you can see me do. Now, if you notice from the bicep to like before you get to the elbow, it's way fitted. So I'm working with that. As you can see, I stopped my cutting on the elbow line. So what I'm going to do now is to open up this line. As you can see now, I'm going to be spreading that on my fabric. All right, for the purpose of this tutorial, I could not open the fabric in two because I had limited fabric. I had like little fabric to work with for the sleeve. So I just went ahead to spread like so. As you can see, I went ahead to spread like so, just one side. And mind you, this particular sleeve is on fold. Please take note of that. This fabric has been folded into two, so I'm cutting on fold, not a single layer. And that is why the pattern paper was folded in such a way. So this is what my sleeve is going to look like when I'm done. I just went ahead to replicate for the other side. And then look, if you are looking toward the end, we have the sharp, okay, this sharp end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be going up around 1.5 inches, and I'm going to be using this part to create a curve as you can see me do. All right, so for the neckline now, you know it's a bit up neckline. We're going to be cutting facing as like you can see me do. You have to take your time to cut out the facing because we're going to be making use of this facing to turn the neckline. So after doing that, I'm going to go ahead to repeat the same process for the back piece also. Then I'm going to go to the head over to the sewing machine. As you can see, you're going to be stitching on the top, then you're going to top stitch, and you're going to repeat the same method for the back piece too. So as you can see, I went ahead to sew in for the front and I top stitch. As you can see, I also went ahead, okay, to flip this over. Now it is best you make use of this accordion pleat to act as your facing, because don't forget I said this particular fabric stretches, okay? So this is what the front neckline is looking like. I'm going to go ahead to work on the back pattern. Then I'm going to be using the back to turn the front at the shoulder. So this is what I have for the back. I went ahead to turn the back neckline too. Then I'm going to be flipping the back facing, as you can see, over the front facing. Then I'm going to be sewing this down with 0.5 inch. This is going to make that shoulder slope have a neat finish. All right, after doing so, as you can see, this is what I have after turning. I'm just going to go ahead to notch, then I'm going to flip it over. So this is what that built up neckline is giving us already. You can see that it's coming together, and I'm going to go ahead to notch the necessary points. So after doing that, then I went ahead like to join the shoulder, as you can see, and on the shoulder now I'm going to go ahead to join in my sleeve. So after joining my sleeve, I'm also going to go ahead to take time to shape this particular gown. Now for the shaping of this particular gown, you are going to shape the gown, then you're going to shape the gown using your bust round measurement, your waist round measurement, and your hip round measurement minus 2 inches, 1.5 or 1 inch, depending on your size. So this is what the final look is giving. I hope you learned something from this tutorial. Do let me know in the comment section.